Welcome to The Village, a podcast focusing on students, staff, and community members that make Village Elementary unique. We are your hosts today. I am Kira.
And I am Aaliyah.
And I'm Mrs. Evans.
Every month, our school is learning and practicing a specific character trait. If you haven't had a chance to listen, make sure to visit our website, thevillage.usd253.net, for a character trait episodes and more.
Today, we will invite a guest on the podcast we believe is a good example of this month's character trait focus word. We will learn more about them as a person, and they will give us some tips on how to live a character-worthy life.
This episode will focus a character trait of responsibility. You can visit the extra content page on the website to learn more.
Responsibility is a willingness and adapting to take ownership of our thoughts, words, and actions. We have a responsibility to our school, family, and community to be accountable for our choices and how they impact ourselves and others. Students who successfully demonstrate responsibility may show the following behaviors.
They manage to organize our time and resources well. They make conscious and calculated choices. They have good understanding of what's our control and what isn't. They are prepared for school each day, and they complete in-class and homework assignments.
Now it is time for us to share a story that will help us understand responsibility even more. This is the story of the ants and the grasshopper.
One morning and bright summer day, the grasshopper leaped in an open field, singing and smiling from ear to ear. Not too far away, an ant was working hard under the hot sun. One by one, they lifted heavy kernels of corn on his shoulders and carried them back to the nest.
"Why don't you come and join me?" the grasshopper said. "We can sing and dance and make beautiful music together."
"I have no time to make music," said the ant. "I'm gathering food for the winter that is coming. I think you better do the same. If you know what's good for you. You don't want to be hungry all winter, do you?" The grasshopper just laughed. "I have a plenty to eat today. Winter is a long ways away. Why worry now such a beautiful day? You're lost, ant."
Summer turned to fall and fall into winter. The field was now covered with snow, and the ant was snug deep inside his nest, warm and happy. He had enough food to last the whole winter. But the grasshopper was no longer singing a happy song or dancing. I'm freezing and starving," he said. "If only I had listened to that tiny ant's advice."
That grasshopper could learn a lot from the ant.
I bet he was really regretting not listening when he had the chance. To help us learn more about what the story means and how it relates to our character trait, we have asked a very special guest to join us on the podcast, my dad, Dusty Humphreys.
Hello, Mr. Humphreys. Would you tell listeners a little bit about yourself?
My name's Dustin Humphreys. I'm Kyrus's dad. I have a wife, 3 kids, Kyrus, Griffith, and Brecklin. I work at a place called Glendo here in town. We make jewelry, engraving, and stone setting equipment. And, yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Dad. How do you think that the story of the ants and the grasshopper teach us about responsibility?
Reading through it shows that there's always time for playing, but sometimes you need to get the work done first. An example would be kind of like our Sundays. What do we do on Sundays?
Beds, showers, and...
You shower more than just Sunday, though.
I know.
Just so we're clear.
You clean the shower on Sunday then?
Usually, Mom will clean it. But we have certain things we like to get done on Sundays before we relax and kind of spend time with family to get ready for the week, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
What do you think the ant and or the grasshopper could have done differently in this story to be more responsible?
Probably work together. If you have more than one person trying to get stuff done, you can have more time for play and other activities.
Why do you think responsibility is important?
Without responsibility, things can come very unorganized, and responsibility and organization kind of go hand in hand.
How do you practice responsibility in your work and or your home life?
So again, on Sundays, we try to get ready for the week and spend time as a family. That's usually one day that we don't have anything going on. So as far as work, we have a lot of deadlines. We're responsible for keeping track of the schedule to make sure everything's getting shipped out on time and produced on time.
Well, because if you're making equipment
Mm-hmm.
for people and then they need it to produce something,
Yep,
doesn't get there in time, then that causes problems for them.
it does. Yep, and that's an always changing factor. We could get a big order that we have to switch our schedule around in the shop, and yeah, we got to be very, very fluid with it. Yeah.
Do you have any tips for us on how we can work on being responsible?
Understanding that there's usually time to play, but sometimes in order to be responsible, you have to do the work first. I guess making lists to keep track of where you're at and what you need to do, and then being organized.
Why do you think the grasshopper would not make food for the winter?
I think he was more focused on playing.
He was having too much fun.
He
right?
was.
Do you guys does that ever happen to you all?
Yeah, sometimes.
It's more with electronics with me.
Yeah.
Have you ever regretted spending too much time on your electronics?
I was supposed to be practicing guitar, but I didn't, so...
So how'd that turn out?
Well, she said if I practice it, I would get, like, a prize, and I didn't, so I didn't get the prize, but she said she would give me another chance, so...
And see, that's kind of a high stakes probably for you, but low stakes. Like the grasshopper, his stakes were food, right? For the winter, and he was starving, but you just lost a prize, right? It's a little bit of a practice for other things in life that, maybe you learn that skill of being responsible on the guitar, but then it applies to other aspects of your life that might be more serious down the road.
And what did you learn from that? What happened?
That I got 2 of the prizes, but there's actually 4, so...
But you were responsible and practiced and got at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it paid off.
How do you feel when me, Little Sis, and Griff do not do the stuff that relates to responsibility?
How do you think I feel?
No clue.
Yeah, you do. Do I get frustrated?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to get that stuff done and get to the playtime. That's the fun part.
Yep.
But the other stuff needs done first? Yeah. And it always takes, if you play around while you're trying to get it done, it always takes what? More time,
Right.
which takes away from playtime.
What are some of your other responsibilities that you have in your household?
Practicing for like sports and all of that.
Spelling tests. You got the cat, animals. What do you do for them?
Feed them and clean the litter box.
Ugh, that's one of my least favorite chores.
She hates it too.
But that is a quick lesson in responsibility, because if you neglect that,
What happens? What happens if you neglect it? Where's the cat go?
Oh, go potty on the floor.
Yeah, and then you got to clean that up, plus clean the litter box.
That's way worse, right? Cats will tell you pretty quick, hey,
Yeah.
if you're not doing your job, you need to do your litter box more. Do you have any pets, Aaliyah?
I used to have 2. So when I didn't clean the litter box, my dog would go downstairs and eat the poop.
Oh, man. That's gross.
Our dogs won't go downstairs anymore.
Nope, they stay out of the downstairs.
Why is that?
Maybe because we told them that they can't go down there certain time.
They actually listen.
They're being responsible,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Are the dogs or your kids more responsible?
Kids.
Good. So you have 2 pets. You used to have 2 pets. Now what do you have?
Just one.
Just one. A dog, cat, hamster?
Dog.
Dog. Do you have responsibilities with the dog?
I have to feed the dog and I have to take it outside after school.
Yeah. Do you take it on walks or just to go to the bathroom or
No, I just let it go outside.
let it go
We have a
outside?
backyard, so.
Do you have to go out there and clean up
No.
No?
Something scary about having pets is when they have seizures.
No, yeah, one of our dog has seizures. Yeah.
Do you know what to do if that happens?
I just go hide in my room.
You just go hide in your room. So who helps the dog?
Dad and Mom.
If people look at the extra content page, they'll see some tips of how they can be responsible too in their daily lives. And one of those is taking care of yourself, but also taking care of others. And that is, I think, and we're recording around the holidays, and a lot of times people like to give pets as gifts for the holidays, but then they forget about the responsibility that goes with that.
There is, especially if they're inside pets.
Yeah, so you've got to make sure you're ready to take care of them, because it's not just it's fun and cute when they're puppies and you're excited, and then as time goes on, every day you've got to feed them. Every day you've got to take them outside. Every day you've got to clean the litter box or do whatever they need. And so I think that's definitely a big lesson and responsibility, and learning those things now then translate to as you're an adult in your job. You're not maybe taking care of the pets at your job, but I'm sure you have a long list of things that you have to do at work.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
We need to get better on taking walks with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of crazy on a leash, though.
Yeah.
But we got a big backyard that they run in during the day,
Nice.
so that helps. If they didn't have that, then yeah, we would have to walk them every day.
Whenever my dog, when we say walk, he's like, what? What? It's time to go.
Now most listeners will know your dad. Her dad's the PE
Yeah.
teacher. And he has been on a running streak. Well, I know in November he was
Yeah.
running along. Does he take the dogs on the runs with him?
No.
I wondered if they liked going out there and running along.
Because another day he ran 20 miles one day.
Oh, geez.
That's a long ways.
Yeah. That is a long trek. That's almost a whole marathon.
Yeah.
Proud of him. What other responsibilities do you guys have in your life, like maybe at school?
Homework.
Homework?
Homework.
Do you guys have any extra responsibilities being Eagle leaders?
Take out recycling.
Recycling? Yeah. Do you guys have some questions for him about, like, maybe you could ask where he grew up, where he went to school?
I know where he went to school.
Yeah, but our listeners might not.
Where did I go to school?
Village.
I did go here.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yep.
So teachers back then did a good job, obviously.
Yeah.
How did you get into your business that you're in now?
I actually kind of just fell into it. I was in between jobs, and another company in town hired me and trained me on the job, and I just kind of progressed from there. I've been doing it for 15 years now.
Oh, wow. So are you in more of like a management position, or do you make the actual parts? How does that work?
Kind of both. My title is a manufacturing process specialist. So I do make the parts, but I do a lot of the fixturing, figuring out how it flows through the shop. I help schedule like what's next on each machine. I do a lot of research and development. So I'm kind of all over the place.
All over, yeah. So for kids that are listening, what would happen if you said how it flows through the shop, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm assuming there's different steps in the
There is,
process.
yep.
So what would happen if one day one person just didn't show up to do one step?
Usually we try to move, like if someone's running a part on another machine and it's not a pressing part, like a hot part, we'll move them to the machine that's running the hot part if that guy's gone. So we'll kind of move people around just to keep things going. And then there's also the other aspect. If we get a big order in, some of those parts may jump in front of what we're currently running. So we got to figure that out. And
So you also have to be flexible.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
to make sure you meet your things that you need to get done.
Yep.
He also grew up in the country.
Okay. How far of a drive was it to town for you?
It's about 5 or 6 miles.
Not too bad, but
No,
enough
it wasn't
that-
too bad.
Some peace and quiet.
Yeah.
Did
Yep.
you learn any extra responsibility growing up, like out in a rural area versus town?
Oh yeah, we had horses to take care of. We had dogs, but most of them were outside, so they kind of took care of themselves. We still had to feed them.
Right.
And then my parents owned some hay ground, so during the summers I'd help haul hay sometimes. And
You never told me that you grew up with horses.
yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
You just forgot.
Do you know what he means by hauling hay?
Yeah.
Do you know what that means? No. Can you kind of explain it to people that might not know?
It's where like you gather hay and like set it in fields.
Kinda. The tractor would
Yeah.
mow it and then put it in rows, and they'd have another tractor baling it. We hauled square bales, so someone would walk the field and throw the bales on the trailer, and then someone on the trailer would stack them. And then he'd go back to the barn, and one would throw them up to the loft, and one guy would stack them in the loft.
You make it sound very easy.
It's not easy. I don't care if I ever haul hay again, honestly.
That's what I was getting. That's where I was leading you with this. I know a lot about hauling hay. I grew up with a bunch of horses, and we fed square bales of alfalfa.
Yeah. Yep.
So I never had to load it in the field, but we'd have to go to our barn, load it on the truck, and then take it out, and it's exhausting work. And
It is.
Those people that work in hay fields are strong, and it's a hard job.
It is. And it's usually in the worst heat of the summer.
Yeah. And you get itchy, and it's scratching you, and the bales are heavy, and it's hot. And if you miss throwing your bale in, then you
It
get
throws
behind.
everyone off.
It throws a massive kink in the plan. Yeah.
Yep.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Ooh. I don't want to know if I want to tell you this answer. If I had to pick, probably math, which I work a lot with numbers now in my current job, and I don't want to tell you I didn't like school at all, but probably math.
It's one of those things I think you grow to appreciate much more when you get older than
You do,
when
yeah.
you're younger. You look back and you're like, man, I used to always, hate is a strong word, but I really did not enjoy history. And now
Yeah,
I love history and like learning about things. And I'm like, I wasted all these years that I could have been learning all this interesting information,
Yep.
complaining about it. But what are your favorite subjects?
Math.
Math?
Math.
Math and writing.
Math and
Writing.
writing. Okay.
You do like to write stories.
Maybe you'll be an author someday. Did you go to a secondary school or like anything
So
after?
I went to ESU for a year.
Okay.
Just to do gen eds. My senior year of high school, I went half days at the Tech College for automotive. What ended up happening is I got a decent paying job. I worked at O'Reilly's in town, and they needed a store manager, so I took that position and dropped school.
I think that we should do more like tech programs and things like that.
They're affordable, they're quicker, and there's a need out there for them.
Yeah. And we've talked in our meetings some. I don't know if we've really gotten into it with this group yet, but kids thinking about their future. Obviously, we're still in elementary school, but the kind of like you mentioned with you liked math when you were a kid, but thinking about what you want to do in your future, that's part of the responsibility is, learning those basic, like even just learning your basic addition and subtraction facts and multiplication and division will pay off in the long run. Like you said, now you're using it in your daily life. So if they can be responsible now, it sets them up for success. And then thinking back to maybe I don't want to go to college. Maybe I want to go to a tech school, or maybe I do want to go to college, or maybe I want to go far away. I think those are all things that again, we're young to start thinking about those things, but listening to your teachers now, doing the things you're supposed to will set you up for success when you figure out what you do want to do when you're older.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're someday going to grow up and be responsible for your bills and taking care of your house. And, maybe if you have 22 pets, you got to feed all them. That might be too many.
Yeah, that's too many. 3 is almost too many for us.
1's almost too many sometimes. I always like to ask at the end of our podcast if you could give one piece of advice, and it can be regarding responsibility or anything, what would your advice to them be?
Going back to trying to figure out what you're going to do after school for your career is pick something that you're passionate about and makes life a lot easier. I had a lot of jobs here and there that I didn't really care for, that I would do just because I had to. But I love the position I am in. I love going to work. I love being home with you guys too, though. So, and that allows me. We work. I'm fortunate. We work 4-10, so I get a 3-day weekend, and we get to spend a lot more time together. So, and listen to your parents and teachers.
Oh, let's say that again for the crowd.
Listen to your parents and teachers.
I promise you, they have your best interest at
They
heart.
do. We're not just asking you to do things because we don't want to do them. We're trying to teach you something, or we need something done. Right?
Right. Yep.
Very good. Well, what do you guys say?
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.